test?
15th. I sent you the date sheet.
15th of December.
January.
Acha, January. Okay, by then we will complete the entire syllabus, inshallah. Okay, don't worry. Okay.
Ma'am, and for quadrilaterals, only the questions which are done in the notebook from school, that will only be taken.
Okay. Okay,
Plus
fine.
the examples questions.
Acha, acha. Okay, fine. Fine. So I was just going through the questions that you guys had done in circles chapter when I wasn't there. The other teacher that had taught you, I think Namrata ma'am, right? So she had taught you guys till, so in the old book it is exercise 10.4. In the new book it is exercise 9.2. Okay, so you guys had done till question number 5, I believe, of that book, of that exercise. Question number 5, yes. Okay, so now let's do the sixth question. So we are doing exercise 9.2. Question number 6. Avni, do you have the book?
Yes, ma'am, but it's the old one. One minute, let me check.
Just open exercise 10.4. I'll tell you the page number, 179. And in the new book, it is page 122.
In mine, it is 1 minute. Exercise 9.2, right? Yeah.
Old book, right? 10.4.
Yeah. Which question, ma'am?
6. Please read the question.
Okay. A circular park of radius 20 centimeter is
20
situated
centimeters,
20 meter
20 meters. Yes.
is situated in a colony. Three
Hmm.
boys, Ankur, Saeed, and David, are sitting
Hmm.
in equal distance on the
Hmm.
on its boundaries.
Okay, just a
Each
minute. So
yeah,
first, till now, what all we have read, let us first make a diagram of that. So you said circular park. Let me make something bigger. Circular park. Radius how much?
radius is 20 meter.
Okay, so we are going to write given radius is equal to 20 meters. Okay, you also keep doing simultaneously, huh?
Okay.
Then it says three boys are sitting at equal distance on its boundary. So equal distance, right? So that means 1, 2, 3. It has to be like this. So equal, there are 3 points, right? These 3 points, Ankur, Syed, and David. So 3 points which are at an equal distance from each other, they make what kind of a shape? What shape are these 3 points making?
Triangle.
Very good. Triangle. Which kind of triangle?
Equilateral.
Very good. They are making an equilateral triangle. So let's keep that in mind that they are making an equilateral triangle. Okay. Fine. Can continue reading the question?
Boundary. Each having a toy telephone in their hands to talk to each other.
Hmm.
Find the length of the string of each phone.
Okay. So what are they saying? Find the length. So they are having a toy telephone in the sense that their telephone strings are like this.
Yes.
Okay. I have made it a little bit wrong. Let me just correct my diagram. This is Uncle and this is gonna be okay. Yeah, okay. Fine, this is S, this is D, this is A. Let's connect the three dots and make an equilateral triangle. This doesn't look like an equilateral triangle. Wait a minute. Now it's fine. So please make the diagram and then we will move ahead with the question. So this is Ankur, Syed, and David. Those three boys, we have named them like that, written the points like that. And then this is the center of the circle. Let's say O. Okay. And that's it, that is given. That the radius is 20 meters. We have to find the length of each string, meaning we have to find the distance AS equal to SD equal to AD, because they're all equal. So if we find just one of them, our work will be done. So can someone suggest what we can do in this case? Just think about it.
We can find one person's telephone line and we can find
Hmm.
everyone's because it's already equal.
Yeah, they are equal. So how do we find one person's length?
Um, we will use SSS rule.
Okay. Then what will happen? Others can also answer, not just one person. Huh? Say Avni. What will that help? How will that help us? Abdul
Hmm.
Jabbar, any idea? What can we do to find any one of them? Okay, let's say fix one that you want to find. Let's say I want to find this one, AS. I want to find AS. How can I find it? I know the radius. Abdul Jabbar? See, what we are going to do is, okay, so this point is going to be the center of the circle, or O. Okay. Now we know that in an equilateral triangle, now we will write it like this. Triangle ASD is an equilateral triangle. Therefore, AS is equal to SD is equal to AD. I hope you're all writing this simultaneously. So see, now you guys are in ninth grade now, and in fact your ninth grade is almost going to get over. You're going to come to 10th grade after this, inshallah. So what you need to do is you need to have this habit of writing and listening in the classroom at the same time. Okay, so some students, they don't have this practice very well. Either they will be listening or they will be writing. They can't do both at once, so that becomes very problematic when you go to higher classes. So please have this habit. Okay, so let's say this is equal to x. So right now what we're going to do is I'm going to forget about everything else and I'm just going to focus on this particular um this particular line segment, the blue one. Let me call it P. Okay, let me call this point as P. Now we have seen, acha, you might ask, how do we know that this blue point in the center that I had just Okay, let me tell you two things, okay? Number one, the first thing is this blue point, which imagine that there's no circle over here, okay? This is called the centroid of the triangle, okay? This is called the centroid of the triangle, the point which is the intersection of all of the altitudes. So centroid, point of intersection of altitudes. This is called the centroid. Okay. Now the
Ma'am,
centroid of, yes, Abdul Rahman.
can you check the chat?
Acha, okay. There's nothing in the chat box, Abdul Rahman. I can't find anything. Anyway, so or maybe you have sent it on the other device. Please send it on this one. Let me help you with that. Can you please message on the other one, Abdul Rahman? Okay. Where was I? Yes. So this
Ma'am,
point,
sorry, but
yes.
for some reason, there is not an other option.
Okay, wait a minute, Abdul Rahman. Okay, fine. I will tell you the phone number where you can send the homework. Wait a minute. Abdul Rahman, you get the class link from which phone number? You have a particular WhatsApp number which gives you the class link, right? That
Yeah.
on that number you should send the homework, okay?
Okay, where I get the link, I should send
Yes,
homework. Got it.
yes, good. Okay, let's get back to our class. So what is centroid? What is centroid again? Abdul Jabbar. Abdul Jabbar?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What is centroid?
No, it is a part, the intersection of altitudes.
Point.
Point,
PT is short for point. Okay.
just
So,
the center right then.
yeah, you can say it is the center. Okay. Now, what happens is you see the thing with equilateral triangle is that the centroid, now this is the second point, centroid of equilateral triangle happens to coincide with the center of the circle in which this triangle is being circumscribed. Okay, is the center, or you can say, of the circle in which the triangle is circumscribed. Or in other words, the centroid of the triangle, it is the circumcenter. Let me tell you why are we saying this. So for example, let's say if you have a circle and if you have a triangle like this is not an equilateral triangle, yeah? This is just some random triangle. And look at its centroid. Centroid basically means the center of that triangle. I'm not going to get into much detail of that. So this is the centroid of this triangle. But you can see that clearly it is not the center of the circle, because the center of the circle is this is the circle, the red one. The center of the circle is this one. Okay. And the center of the circle is different from the centroid. Why? Because this triangle that I have drawn over here it happens to not be an equilateral triangle. That's why this is happening. So when this triangle becomes an equilateral triangle, the centroid of the triangle and the center of the circle will be the same thing. They will be coincident. Okay. So 1 minute. I won't be able to get my circle back. Okay. Fine. Till here, it's clear to everyone. Abdul Jabbar, you had just switched on your video. Now, what happened all of a sudden? Why is it off again?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Good. Okay. So let's come back to our proof. This is basically what we have shown over here is that it is the center of the circle. And now you guys know one thing about the the line segment, you can say. Let me remove all the other distractions. If you have a line segment from the center of the circle, which is perpendicular to a chord, then what can you say about this perpendicular and the chord? What is the relationship between them? You've done many questions on this. What does this perpendicular line, this blue line, do to this chord? What does it do to the chord? Avni, Abdul Rahman,
Yes,
Abdul Jabbar, anyone? Huh?
ma'am, it divides it into half, to half.
Very good. So that is called bisecting, right? So we had called this P. So since OP is perpendicular from center to chord AS, therefore it bisects the chord. And we know this from a theorem, which we have done many times. So that means SP is equal to AP, right? SP is equal to AP. Can you tell me how much will this be equal to? Acha, that is something we don't know. AS is equal to X, right? So SP and AP will be what? Half of AS because it's being bisected. So it's half of AS means half of X. Till here, is everything clear to you? All of you?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Clear? Okay. Now let's come back to this. Um, we had drawn another line segment, another altitude. I am not going to redraw the entire diagram, or maybe what I should do is just a minute. Just a minute. I'll just, for your convenience, I'll make two diagrams. Okay. This is the diagram that you have to draw, okay? The one that I'm going to draw right now. This is the one that you should draw. And please draw it simultaneously. Because we know that in an equilateral triangle, the altitude, it bisects each of the sides. The altitude is the median, right? So even through that also we could have done the same thing. We could have gotten the same result. So now what we have here is that this is x by 2 and this is x by 2. Okay. Now one more thing we have is that this thing over here, AO, which I'm going to draw in the other diagram. Let's say this one, okay? OS. OS is equal to how much? Can someone tell me how much is OS equal to?
Radius.
90.
Very good. Radius. Radius, which is 20 meters. Fine, so I'm just going to write 20. This is the radius, so it is 20. Okay. Now, one more thing we need here is, okay. Just a minute. So let's take this equilateral triangle, okay? This one. All right. So this is what was this? Okay, we didn't name it yet. Or let's do one thing. Instead of taking this, let's take this equilateral triangle. Okay. This right angled triangle. Okay, fine. So take a look at this right angled triangle. This is a right angled triangle. In this, what all do we know? We know that this is x by 2. Okay. And this is x. This we know. And this is unknown. We don't know this. Okay. So we can find out this distance using the Pythagoras theorem. So what all we know in this equilateral triangle, now let's write it over here. In, not equilateral, sorry, in right angled triangle, in right angled triangle PDS, PS is equal to x by 2, SD is equal to x. So by Pythagoras theorem, what can we say? Something square plus something square is equal to something square. What are those three things? Yes? Tell me, in this triangle, the yellow triangle, right angle triangle. Let me redraw it for you. This is a right angled triangle. This is x by 2. This is x. And this is PD. Oh, this is 90 degrees. Now tell me. Sorry. Yes. Arey, this is Pythagoras theorem. Something you've been studying since 7th grade. Hurry up. Yes, Avni.
Ma'am, I can't see the diagram. Can you go a bit up? Yeah, now. See.
Now tell me, by Pythagoras theorem, what do we have? Quickly. What can we say about these three sides? What will be the relation? Okay, what is Pythagoras theorem? What does it say?
AB square plus BC square is equal.
Hmm. Okay. So always in a right angled triangle, if this is A, this is small a, this is small b, and this is the hypotenuse h, then always it is these two sides, their square, when you add them, you get the hypotenuse square. It is always the hypotenuse square which is equal to a square plus b square. Always. Don't ever make the mistake of saying a square plus h square equals b square. No. Hypotenuse, meaning the side which is opposite to the right angle, this side will be alone when it comes to this equation, the Pythagoras theorem. So h square hypotenuse square is equal to the sum of the other two sides. Now tell me, look at this triangle, this one, and tell me. If you don't know this thing over here, you can just say PD. Now tell quickly. Abdul Jabbar? Yes, Abdul Jabbar. What will the Pythagoras theorem statement become over here? You guys don't remember Pythagoras theorem?
X
Huh.
by 2 square whole square
X by 2 whole square,
plus x
not plus x. This is the hypotenuse.
plus
Remember,
plus
this is,
PD
yes, this is opposite to the right angle, right? So this is the hypotenuse. So this will always be the single one.
yes ma'am.
Plus
PD whole square.
whole square. This is going to be your statement, Pythagoras theorem, okay? By Pythagoras theorem, we have this. From here, we can see PD square is equal to x square minus x square by 4. Yes or no? What we have done is we have just taken this thing to the other side. It became x minus x square by 4. Till here, is it clear?
Yes ma'am.
Good. Fine. So PD square is equal to, now just subtract it. This is just basic subtraction. Okay. And then this becomes 3x square by 4. So basically, your PD is root 3x by 2. This is your PD. And we are going to remember this, okay? We are going to remember this. That is why I am putting it inside a box. So your PD is root 3x by 2. Okay? Please write it till here. Done? You all done?
Ma'am, 1 minute.
Okay, hurry up. And those of you who have missed any of the classes, the previous classes, I would suggest to you, please, as soon as possible, look at the recordings, watch the recordings. Okay. They are only of 1 hour each, or some of them are even less than 1 hour, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You can increase the speed and watch. It's not anything difficult. So please just watch the recordings so that when you come to the next class, you will know what we are doing and you will know the previous concepts. Done, Avni?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. Now let's take, I'm gonna take this thing again. Okay, so over here we have this, let's call this as Q. Okay, now we have found one thing, PD is equal to root 3x by 2. Yeah, so that means if you look at PO, or if you look at the distance PD is PO plus OD. Yes, PD is PO plus OD. Clear? Clear or not? If it's not clear, I can repeat.
Can you repeat one more time?
Yeah. So take a look at PD, this one. Okay, the one we have just now found out. So look at that. It is equal to, it is made up of two parts, right? It is made up of PO and OD. Yes or no, Avni?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is exactly what I had written over here. That PD is equal to PO plus OD. Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's clear.
Okay. So PO we don't know. PO we don't know. We have to find that out. PO is equal to, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send OD to the other side because we have to find PO. So PO is basically PD minus OD. So PO is PD, which we have just now found, root 3x by 2 minus OD. How much is OD again? You guys had just now told me. How much is OD? Abdul Jabbar.
Radius, right?
Yes, and that is 20.
Yes.
Okay, so PO is equal to this much. Fine. Now look at this thing. Look at this triangle. The triangle POS is a right angled triangle. Yeah. So, and it's a right angled triangle, and we know how much OS is. We know that OS is 20 because it's the radius. And we know PO, that also we just now found, we wrote it, and x by 2. So let's apply Pythagoras theorem. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem, we have in triangle POS. Okay, so by Pythagoras theorem, we have PO whole square plus PS whole square is equal to OS whole square. Till here, is it clear? Avni, Zain, Abdul Rahman,
Yes, ma'am.
Abdul
Clear.
Jabbar, clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So PO whole square. Now what is PO? We have written it over here. So I'm going to bring this over here. PO is root 3x by 2 minus 20. So we are going to take a square of that plus PS whole square. PS is how much? X by 2. So x by 2 whole square is equal to OS whole square, which is 20 square. So now it's pretty easy. We can just expand these and we can easily find x from here. So, so now we just expand this bracket. Yes, a minus b whole square is how much? Who will tell me now? What is a minus b whole square? A minus b whole square is?
A square minus b square
No,
is equal to a
a
square plus
minus
b square
plus b square minus 2ab.
b. Yes.
Keep revising your previous chapters, okay? And anyway, Avni, you have polynomials in your upcoming test. Now, this is there in that chapter.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
A square plus b square minus 2ab. So let's remember this thing. Let's keep it over here somewhere. Okay, a minus b whole square is a square plus b square minus 2ab. So we're going to apply that. This is a, this is b. This is a minus b whole square, right? So a minus b whole square is a square. A square. You have to do whole square, remember. Plus b square minus 2 times a into b. This dot means into. Okay, so this is our this thing. Okay. Next we have x by 2 whole square. So x by 2 whole square is nothing but x square by 4 is equal to 20 square is 400. Till here, is it clear? Also, I request all of you to please come on time, join the class on time from the next class onwards, okay? Because what happens is when there's just one student, I can't start, right? There has to
Um,
be at least 2, 3 students to
ma'am,
start, and you guys come pretty late. Yes, Abdul Rahman?
sorry if I come late, but the reason it is because you see my computer, right? For some reason, it takes long time just to start.
So if it takes long time to start, then you should, if the class starts at what time, whatever time it is at your place, then start the computer at 15 20 minutes before the class time. Don't start it exactly on the class time. Be prepared now. So when you know that it is going to be late, then you need to come early, meaning that you need to start your computer early.
Yes,
Okay.
I actually try to start the computer at 10 minutes early and still I
Then start it 20 minutes early. Okay.
okay.
Hmm. Fine. Now let's expand this root 3x by 2 whole square. Nothing but calculations over here, okay? So root 3 ka square is 3. Then we have x square is x square. Then 2 square is 4 plus. Now this is 20 square, which is 400 minus. This 2 and this 2 get cancelled. So we have 20 root 3 x plus x square by 4 is equal to 400. This 400 and this 400 get cancelled and we have a 0 left over here. Or in other words, you can say that when you take this 400 to the other side, it becomes 400 minus 400, which is 0. So we have what we have here is 3x square by 4 plus x square by 4. I just brought this over here. Minus 20 root 3x is equal to 400 minus 400 is 0. Till here, did you all understand? Take a look at it and tell me if you understood or not. Abdul Jabbar, what happened today? You're so quiet. Hmm. Understood till here or not? Hmm. Fine. So now we are going to just add up both of these because both of them are like terms. X square, like terms. So 3x square by 4 plus x square by 4 is nothing but 4x square by 4, which is the same thing as x square minus 20 root 3x. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this over here, okay? So is equal to 20 root 3x. Now what I'm going to do here is something you're not supposed to do in mathematics, which is canceling this x and this x. Okay, I won't do it. Not going to break any rules, okay? So this is equal to 0. So what we have basically is x square minus 20 root 3x is equal to 0. Now you guys have learned factorization. This is where that factorization comes into picture. You take x as common because from here you can see that x square over here and x over here. So you can take x as common. And then what are we left with? In the first term, we are left with x, and in the second term, we're left with 20 root 3 is equal to 0. So when we have a situation like this, see, if I tell you, now listen to this very carefully, this is a very basic concept that if you don't understand this, you will be like, what is happening? So listen carefully. If you have two numbers, I tell you that A and B are two numbers and their product is 0. What can you say about A and B? Think about it. What can you say about A and B? Can you say something about A and B?
Both has no value. Things.
Very good. No value. No value means
They are zero.
very good. Just a slight change I will tell you. That doesn't have to mean that both of them have to be 0. Why? Because what if only one of them is 0? What if A is 4 and B is 0? Even then you will get the answer as 0, right? Yeah. What if only A is 0 and B is some other number? Let's say minus 3. We can take negative 3 or we can take negative 3 by 2 fraction, any number, any number. But even if just one of them is 0, the entire answer will become 0. So when we say that there are two numbers whose product is 0, this means that either one of them is 0 or both of them are 0. So over here you have x, which is one term, multiplied by another term, which is this thing, the bracket. So the product of two things, this is your A and this is your B. This entire thing is your B. Their product is 0. What can you say about A and B in this case? Either A is 0 or B is 0, right? Are you getting this? Yes, students, are you understanding this? If not, tell me, I'll repeat.
Understood.
Okay. So this means that either x is 0 or the other thing, which is this bracket. What is the bracket? 20, x minus 20 root 3. Either x is 0 or this thing is 0. Because see, if even one of them becomes 0, that means the entire product becomes 0, right? Just like I showed you over here, 4 into 0 is 0. So even though A in this case is not 0, but since B was 0, so the entire thing became 0. The answer became 0. So either x is 0 or x minus 20 root 3 is 0. But we we can see over here that x cannot be 0, right? Because we took x as this. This is the distance x, the distance between those three boys. So a distance cannot be 0. So clearly x is not equal to 0, because then if it was 0, then they would all be sitting on top of each other or something. That doesn't make sense. So clearly x is not 0. That means the other thing has to be 0, which means x minus 20 root 3 has to be 0. From here we can find x. X is equal to 20 root 3. This is what we had to find. Please note it down. Let me know when you're done, okay? Done? And look at your answer once again, whatever you have written. Go through it, go through each step, because this involved many steps. Or if you want me to repeat, tell me. I will just summarize the entire question once more so that we can, just recap the question. Let me know if you want me to do that. Okay, so we will just quickly do a recap of this entire question. You're all done writing till the end? Yes or no?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Let me just recap this entire question. So they had given us only two facts. They had given us only two pieces of information. One piece of information was that this entire triangle, the pink one, is an equilateral triangle. The other thing they told us was that the radius is 20 meters. I think I have made see, this is a small mistake I've made. I should always mention the unit. Okay, 20 root 3 meters. So anyway, so what we did was we first looked at this right angle triangle, the big right angle triangle. Okay, this is going to be the half of the side. This is going to be half of x. So it's going to be x by 2. And why is it going to be half of x? Because this altitude of an equilateral triangle is the median of that triangle, a median of that side, meaning that it divides the side into two equal halves. Or in other words, you can also say this, that this the line or the perpendicular from the center to the chord bisects the chord. Same thing. Okay. So this is x by 2. Then this thing we had already taken it as x. SD we had taken it as x. See, SD is x. And then PD we didn't know. So we tried to find PD using the Pythagoras theorem. Then we found PD in terms of x. After finding PD, we then said, well, PD is the entire length, this thing, it's the entire length, this one. But I know that OD is the radius. So I know the radius. So from that, I can find out PO. So what we did was, we know PD, we have just found it. We know OD, so we found out PO. Now, POS was a right angle triangle, and for that right angle triangle, we applied Pythagoras theorem, and from there we found out the value of x. This is what we have done in this question. Any doubts in this question? Any doubts in this question? Anyone? Yes or no? It's just a yes or no question. If there are doubts, then ask. If there are no doubts, then say no. You can even type it in the chat box. Okay. All right, then. If there are no doubts, then you may leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.